Uh, yeah.
Hello, team.
Hey,
Hi,
how are you going?
Hello.
Hey. Alrighty.
Give me just 1 second.
Yeah. Rescue.
Battery went flat.
Handy. What do we have? All right. Welcome to Demo Week. How exciting. I'm excited. I don't know if you're excited. I'm like totally sick of it by now. But I'm excited because I've just spent the last 26 weeks looking at tiny little snippets of everybody's project. And now I actually get to see what the whole thing is and what you've been able to create over the last weeks together. So this is actually, I'm not even joking, this is a very exciting week for me. So what we're going to do today is you are going to assume I am a user coming to your system who has never used it before, and you're basically going to run the system for me. So what I'm looking for is making sure the functionality works, but getting an understanding of the system from the start to the end. At this stage, I'm not interested in who did what. We'll talk about that later. But what I'm interested in now is just kind of you guys working me through it. You're allowed to tell me specific things about it if you'd like to, if that's helpful to you. But what I'm really interested in is basically seeing your system in operation. So we'll do that first, and then we'll have kind of a general chat about who's been working on what and all of those kinds of things. Does that make sense? Is that
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. In that case, whenever you are ready, if somebody wants to set that up and do a screen share and just basically start your system and work me through it.
Sure.
Uh,
Can do that.
yeah. We just want to introduce this project in this stage first. So Edward will, Ivan will.
Do we want to do you want us to walk through like because we had a script prepared, Christy?
All right.
To like,
Yes.
well, do you just want a quick demonstration, then we'll do that later, or?
No, you can work through it however you. If you've got
Okay.
it prepared, you go through that.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that because we prepared it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tony.
So let's just Ivan to introduce this project in this stage. Thanks, Ivan.
Ivan, you're muted.
All right, sure. Just realized.
You got
Right,
us, Jet?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So in this third and final phase of development, our team has completed the backend functionality of the web application with the help of Inja team. New functionalities has been added, such as new selection filters, ensemble animation, and big and go searching, listing, and downloading data. Existing functionalities of the web application have been updated according to user testing and feedback, including the map and its tools, time period selection, and a new rewrite of the responsive layout and other quality of life fixes. In addition, the online user menu has been completed with updated interface images and embedded videos to help users fully understand the functionalities of the application. So next, Kim will introduce the user's feedback part.
Yep. Thanks, Ivan. Yeah, I'll just briefly talk about the user's feedback. And out in our demo by Joe, we'll talk in details how this feedback will affect our application in a whole scenario. So this feedback largely originates from two user testing sessions that were held this semester in Agile 2 and Agile 3. Most of the feedbacks have been directly implemented into our application. In phase 2, we have the following feedbacks from our clients: the sorting of the variable list into alphabetical order, optimization for responsive layout. For example, like with smaller displays, we will have different resolutions, a logo of recognition for the Indra team for their contribution into our backend, a warning for if the user should select an end date that is past 2099 because there is no data after this time period. In phase 3, the last phase, we received the following feedback. Synchronization of the start and end date selection. A download button has been relabeled into search instead because it is more accurate to its function. We would just be listing a list of downloadable content instead of automatically downloaded. A note explaining how searching of data works while searching. Longitude and latitude summary has been limited to 3 decimal points. Map selection tools have now been highlighted as they are being selected. Default maps have been added in. New default map have been added in. So we now have 2 types of default map being selected with a toggle. More significant changes have been added in due to the functionality of the application as well. This includes a time resolution selection for hourly, daily, monthly, and static. Reintroduction of insable member selection. This was previously abandoned in the last stage of last semester, but we have reintroduced it in our second agile phase. An additional of emission selection. Yep, so up next we'll have the application demo by Joe, who will explain this in further details for you. Cheers.
Thank you.
So if you can see my screen.
I can see it if it's got the map on it. Yep.
So welcome to the final product of the project. The most important addition in this last stage is the ability to finally search and download the climate data results, which I will show at the end, but for now we'll walk through the entire process and examine some changes made during these phases. So starting with this first step or section, the map has been redeveloped to have names of locations on them, whereas before it was just pure satellite imagery, which one user didn't like because he didn't know where Hobart was. We also have this new ability to change the map type so switching from hybrid to topological vector, which the user also desired. And now the currently selected tool is highlighted in the toolbox, whereas before it wasn't, and the user did not know which tool they had currently selected. Moving on to step 2. So now we've selected an area, so we can move on to the next step. So we have a new feature which synchronizes the end date with the start date selected. So if we scroll all the way back to 1994 and select a date, the end date will automatically go there, so the user doesn't have to scroll back again. We also have these 2 new additions to the functionality negotiated with the client. This is ensemble selection, which was originally in the project but was removed because the client didn't want it, but then he needed it again, so it's been added back, and with all 7 members. And emission selection, which allows you to select between historical climate data, so that's data that was actually recorded in the past, or emission data, which is like forecasted scientifically. And we have all of our variables listed here, and with searching is still implemented correctly. Now we can go to the summary page. So this has been renamed from download to summary because that more accurately reflects its function. These latitude and longitude values have been shortened to 3 decimal points because before they were, 15 points long and took up the whole screen, which one user didn't like. And this download button down here has been renamed to search data because that more accurately reflects its function as well. So we can try and download some data now. Okay, so we have a note here from is requested by the client, which says searching for files that contain data within your filters, because that's what the search actually does. So it won't just return data within your filters, it'll return files that have data within your filters. That's a technical limitation because of the complex file structure of the climate data files. And we also have a loading spinning icon which informs the user that the application isn't frozen because the loading can take some time. We didn't get any results, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I might just change my filters.
I don't know.
We get no results because there aren't any data in those filters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, so here we have some results listed. They've been sorted into tabs based on their time resolution. And the time resolution the user selected in step 2 will be the default tab selected. So once the user finds the file they want, they can click it to download it. The browser will ask them to save it, and that will work perfectly fine. So that's the end goal of the project. That's completely finished and functional, which is fantastic. Some other advancements that have been made is the online user manual has been completed with all these different pages, including some embedded videos to help users better understand the functionality. And there was a complete rewrite of the responsive layout, so now it resizes neatly, and these boxes go like that, which means our application is now usable on phones, even though not supported officially. And this is what it used to look like before it was completely broken. So that's our demo for our application.
That
Thanks.
is great. Congratulations, team. You've got a system. Hooray for you.
It's good to see it come
Cheers.
together.
Really good. It's really good news. I'm so pleased for you. I'm so pleased. Yay. Now I know what you've been doing this whole time. All right. Let us now talk to contributions of what I have seen. So we'll just go through our list. So Yufan, what, based on what I saw today, is there because of your contributions?
My role within the team is in this stage is lead presentation, and then I participate in technical development via the user menu. So fixing errors with the images and the videos layout, and I also help to make diagrams and graphics for the user menu images. And I also participate in the completion of reference menu. And then besides the application, I mainly focus on documentation about the design of the application, which is the technology acceptance model part. And then that's the production of the team's video presentation in this stage.
Terrific. Good to hear. Thank you very much. How about you, Tony?
I'm sorry. I think I'm feel sorry about no contribution in the coding work in this stage.
No,
But
not just the coding.
my most
project
work
as I saw it.
is about the documents like report and user manual. Maybe a part of the content of the user manual to use in online version, like you see that. As I mentioned in the self-evaluation, in this stage, our application is turned to the backend and development, so I feel hard to take part in it. I just do some small things like check the progress every week and report my findings to Joe and other members as the normal user to make sure our application function has met the client requirements and the user needs. In front of the client, I present our team. In front of our team, I present the client. So I need to responsible for our client to ensure that our products is what our client need. So that's all.
Thank you.
Not
That's
much.
not bad at all. How about you, Maminal? Do you want to talk me through what you've been responsible for?
Yes, I was mainly responsible for user testing. This included technical testing of requirement and use cases, performing the testing session and gathering results. During this phase, I prepared both white box and black box testing. I performed black box testing myself to ensure the application was operating as intended. Later, I created tasks to conduct user testing, which due to COVID-19 was done online in a video conference call as done in previous phases. I have also taken part in completion of our online user manual, where at first I have done the introduction, interface, and steps manual pages, which were later improved and updated due to changes in the web application, such as addition of new features of ensemble and emission selection. I also created images and GIFs of the application for the user manual. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good to hear. Mirza, how about you? Tell me about your contributions in what I've just seen.
Hey, my role is in this phase was user needs mapping. During this phase, I have contributed directly to writing the online user manual and help and perform the white box technical testings. And I have assisted Nabil to perform the white box technical testing and the user testing section. And I have also assisted Nabil to fill up the test results and cross-check the testing data according to the testing session recordings. I have also taken part in coding online user manual pages with Tony, Kim, and Nabil. Specifically, I have developed downloading, summary, and select variable pages of the user manual. And there is some part we have been software demonstration about the user needs. So basically, we have ensured that during the project, we have developed the application to match the needs of the user according to two users surveys and the clear requirements of the client Thomas. The main purpose of this of the making this application to save the time and cost and improve work efficiency of extracting climate data for both users and our client. We have already pointed out in the report that based on several surveys of test, we have speculated that our client have saved about 100 working hours each year, and the user can save approximately 600 hours of waiting time each year for 7 users. In addition to meeting those requirements, we have also fulfilled other requirements as well. By gathering user needs through surveys, we found that the filters most important of them, such as ensemble and emission section. Other requirements were extrapolated from results and testing, including allowing the application to resize responsibly different size displays, creating an easy-to-use interface by breaking the process into separate sections, and adding a quick search functionality for the long variable list as well. I think that's fine for me.
Thank you very much. Joel, how about you?
Yep. So during the entire project, I was the lead technical developer. During this phase, my work mainly consisted of setting up the instance that the client provided us to host the application. I was setting that up so the application was actually hosted there, because the whole time we were hosting it on GitHub for development, but now it's actually hosted on that server instance that they've given us. I also spent time setting up services on the system and creating scripts to help the client manage the program in the future. So one example is that I made a script that they can just run and it will update the application with the latest code for them without any need for anything. And then just development of the overall code of the project, implementing the final data search and download functionality, and implementing all the changes from feedback. Well, not all of them, but a lot. And the big rewrite of the responsive layout was also my responsibility.
Awesome. Kim, what about yours? You're muted. I can't hear
you. Yeah. It's good we have webcams.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah, I'm Kim. I'm the client liaison for this project. So my main mission in this project is just general communication with the client and his associates. We have additional stakeholders in this project, including the help from Mr. Nikhil Garg. He helps with the backend application implementation of the backend. So Joe helps me as well in that matter with communicating with Nikhil. And I contributed the work inside the user manual mainly with the overall structure. I took screenshots and videos for the embedded version inside of HTML5. I summarized the client and his associates' feedback inside the user's testing session so we can translate them into the final report version. Inside of the report documentation, I take part in the executive summary, the client acceptance criteria, and client quality expectations. For this final phase, we have one problem arises with the intelligence property agreement. Unfortunately enough, our client doesn't retain any IP agreements because this is an open source application. It's free for everyone. However, the CSIRO team, Mr. Nikhil Garg, as I just mentioned above, who was responsible for the backend implementation, would want to retain some IP for his contribution. And I have negotiated with Mahesh, his project manager inside of CSIRO, to finalize this matter in the end. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yep.
And Yulong, how about you?
So hi, I'm Yulong, the security and privacy leader in the team. So at this stage, I mainly focus on the documentation and have real contribution to the application. In the documentation, I initially draft the structure of the technical reference manual. And I wrote the introduction, file structure, and content, and online user manual parts inside it. For the Agile 3 report, I drafted the development progress section. And I implemented several front-end improvements to the application based on the feedback from user testing, including highlights the currently selected tool in the map toolbox. I also upgraded the time period selection inputs to synchronize the start date and end date when the start date is first selected, and summarizing the latitude and longitude accuracy to 3 decimal in the summary step. Yeah, that's all.
I love how you always all have finished with, and that's all, as if that's a small amount. Just did that. I'm really pleased to hear that. Thank you so much, team, both for the quality of your work has been really strong consistently through these both semesters. You've done a really great job. Your system works really well. It looks really nice. And I think your client is going to be really pleased with the outcome. So please do feel congratulated on the efforts. I know that the last 26 weeks doing project is damn relentless and it's hard. And now we're even doing it in COVID isolation, which makes it even weirder. But what I've seen is your team has held together quite rigorously and you've produced a really solid project. And so that's a really, really strong outcome. Not everybody comes out of project in the way that you have. So please do feel congratulated on that. I'm very pleased for you and what you've been able to produce. That's really great news. And so to finish off, next week you are going to submit to me your final presentation. I will review that, other members of staff will review that, and your client will review that. But you just need to send it through Milo and then I'll distribute it as appropriate. What, again, I need to remind you to do is, if you haven't done it, is to book a handover meeting with your client. And at that stage, you will be giving them the actual system and all of the deliverables and documentation and all of that kind of stuff. Once they've done that, your project manager, who, if you could, that's Tony. Yep, Tony, send me an email letting me know when that's finished, because at that stage, I will then send assessment forms to your client and they will continue or they will complete assessment forms from their perspective of project. So there's still quite a lot of assessment-y stuff that's going on. It's kind of happening in the background now. So after the session next week, the presentation next week, you're pretty much done and dusted. So is there anything else I can do to help you today to get you ready for the presentation questions that you have?
Yeah. I have a small question about the meeting with the client, because he's currently on leave for a couple of weeks, I suppose. And do we have to do it before the presentation video submission, or?
No, you don't have to. You can do that after. I would just like you to do it as early as you can, because then they, the week of SWOT-VAC, because that means it's not getting involved in any of your exams or your study time. So earlier the better. It doesn't have to be done before presentation, but that week would be great. And also, if it takes too long, I won't have their feedback for you to add to your marks in time for the final assessment to be done, which is in another 2 weeks. So earlier the better, but it doesn't have to be done until the presentation is finished.
Do you think, because I think it's quite basic, the handover, could it just be like a really long email? Because if you can't make the meeting in time.
Yeah, it could be. So what I want them to do is have had a demo. So if you can't demo, to do a pre-recording of the demo, just like you did today.
Sure.
And then just, send everything or give them access to whatever you need to if they are away. and then I will send them things. And if things don't come back, then I will deal with that.
Yeah, sure.
But,
Yeah, we'll
obviously-
try a meeting. If he can't make it, then we'll. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
good
and
idea.
I
Thanks a lot.
have another
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, go ahead,
I-
please.
Yeah, so as I just noticed that the maximum size that can be uploaded to Milo is 1 gigabyte. So if we produce a video like over 1 gigabyte, so can we share like a Google Drive link?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that would be perfectly fine. And then I can
Sure.
just pull it down.
Yeah.
Yep.
because
and
it's 25 minutes video.
Yeah, it's a long video.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy to do that.
Yep.
All right.
And-
Well, I have another set of.
Yeah, I have another questions like
Yeah, go ahead.
regarding myself and the peer review. I have already
We're
sent
not
you-
going to talk about those in the group meeting today. This is an actual assessment piece, so we're doing
Yeah.
this now. What you'll need to do, Mirza, if you want to talk about those kinds of things, you'll have to set an appointment and we can have a chat, okay?
Yep.
But I can't do
have-
it now because I'm
No
literally.
worries. I have already sent you a mail regarding this matter in the morning.
Yep.
Probably I'll get a feedback about this.
Okay,
later
that's
on
fine.
from
Yeah,
the-
when
yep.
I won't get to that for a few days because I'm backed up with these for every team. But as soon as I can, I'll get onto that, Mirza.
Yeah, because I'm really worried about this.
Yeah, I said I'd get
this
to that,
time.
okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
No worries.
All right, you guys take care. Have an excellent rest of your day. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your presentation next week. You take care.
No,
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks. Cheers.
Okay,
Thank
bye.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Bye.
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 Bye.